Armada Book 6 Chapter 2 The Cave in Part 2. Earlier near Earth, Ellie and Hilm were waiting for the 100 Maccabee ships bound for Earth at a very ideal ambush position. Ellie, the Maccabee ships will be in range in 1 hour. Tom said, "Yes, tell the Macs to prepare to be deployed. Tell the Marines to go out as soon as the Macs are all out. Identify the command ship and get the commander. Change the directive from destroying the ships to preserving them. These may come in handy for the Armada later on. There are 2 command ships. I believe one is for the Earth Operations Group, and the other is for the whole operations including the Inkeys and Norset groups." Tom said. Hilm appeared beside Ellie. "Are we all ready?" he asked. "Do you know these guys?" Hilm looked at the holograms. "Yes, Ellie, this guy is Commander Tind, the same guy we got in our dimension. He's the head of the Starship Training Academy, remember? But I don't know this other guy. Probably a new commander. Let's just mind read these 2 and dump the rest in the holding planet." "Sure. It will be a 3-hour prep. Let's have some food at the mess hall." After 3 hours, the taggers and bombers have all returned. "So are we ready?" Hilm asked Ellie. "Yes. Tom, start beaming them all out to the holding planet. Beam Tind and the other commander to the mind-reading module. Come on, Hilm, let's go." At the small mind-reading module, "I have asked the Crinsons not to kill these guys, and they said they will reconsider," Desta told them as they came through the door. "Anything new?" Ellie asked. "Nothing's new. Desta's vided. The Marines have deployed to tag the remaining Maccabees," Tom said. Desta explained, "This Tind's memories are almost the same as the Tind we have back home, so it's really nothing new to us. The Crinsons are still upset and would prefer to kill these 2.
No.
Killing them will not help us. Send them all back to the holding planet when you are done," Ellie said. "The Crinson is asking if it can at least alter their personalities to better ones." Desta said, "Okay, that's fine. The 2 ships are clean and the hackers are now deploying. The Macs are deploying to operate the ships. The ships are slow and operate at 8% of our regular speed. They would be near Earth in a month." Tom said, "Let's tow the 2 commander ships back to Earth." 3 days later, Tom started. 5 Maccabee ships are delivering several volleys of plasma, shots 100,000 kilometers from space. Ellie looked at the holos. "These must be scout ships prepping Earth before the Armada comes in." Ellie moved to Hilm's bridge. Hilm greeted her. "Hi, Ellie. The bombardment started 5 days ago. They seem to just fire a few volleys per city, mostly in the upper hemisphere. Mostly the volleys are concentrated in U.S. cities from far from space. They have not deployed any Gentas, though. Can we send in our people?" Ellie asked. "In 30 minutes, we will be in beaming range. The taggers and bombers are prepared to go." Olive said, "I would suggest we take these ships and not destroy them." Tom looked for a planet 80 MLY away to hold the Maccabees. Hilm said, "There is one 78 MLY away, slightly bigger than usual." Olive said, "Any word from our operatives on the ground?" Ellie asked. "Yes. An hour ago, the Ghost leader Julian reported that the Maccabees have made their presence known and gave the U.S. president a list of persons to look for. The volleys are for show. They said the Maccabees and the scout ships told the humans that they expect the main Maccabee armada to arrive in 25 days. They expect the people on the list to have been rounded up by then. They also sent a copy of the list." Hilm said. A hologram of the list appeared. "I don't recognize any of the people in the list." Ellie commented. "The Ghost reported that only 100 of the 3,500 on the list are American." Hilm said, "We can send our people now, Ellie." Olive said, "Tell them to go ahead." Hilm, "Don't stop. We'll just stay on with our present speed." Hilm nodded. "The virus will deploy in 30 minutes. All our people will be back in 10 minutes. Olive said. Lieutenant Julian Singer beamed on board. "Hi, Julian. What did you find out?" Ellie asked the Ghost Group operative. "The Maccabees have met with the U.S. president, but the list are mostly non-U.S. personalities. They had to look for them in England, Germany, France, Denmark, and Norway. Some from Spain and Portugal. Our people have located the Armada personalities, and they are not on the list the Maccabees have. The list is consistent with the names from Billy's report." Hilm said. Ellie commented, 5 scout ships can really terrorize a planet. Olive, start beaming the Maccabees to the holding planet as soon as our taggers are out. Beaming has started. All ships will be empty in 10 minutes. Olive answered. Scan and make sure. Then send our troops and hackers in. Make sure to deactivate the virus once the ships are clean. Ellie said. We will be in beaming range of Earth in a few minutes, Ellie. Do you want to go down and talk to the U.S. leader? Hilm asked. Sure, let's go. The president is at his office with several people. Beam your holograms in the middle of the room. His name is President Rivers. Julian said. My dad? Yes, he looks like your dad too. Ellie looked at Julian. Okay, cassocks on, Julian. Hilm said. Ellie deployed a habit, while Julian deployed a white cassock. Hi, Daddy, Ellie said. Timmy looked dumbfounded. Ellie, you're dead. So you're a ghost? In a way. Why? What happened? You died 3 days ago in the accident at the cave. You saved all your students, but you were the only one who did not get out. I just came from the site yesterday. Your husband does not want to leave until he brings your body out. Where? You don't know? At the Luray Caverns. Tom told Ellie in her implant. I found Ellie. She's dead, but she has a ghost. Beaming her to the ship bridge now. Beaming her body to the med hall. Ellie cut the hologram, and they all disappeared in front of Timmy. Hi, Ellie, how are you? Ellie greeted local Ghost Ellie. Ghost Ellie was unsure what happened. I died, right? Yes, you did. But you saved all your students.
I'm Glo.
Where's David? Who's David? Ellie asked. My husband. He's out in the cave digging. I watched him supervise the digging and I feel he is so sad and broken-hearted. Tom, get David over here, please. Ellie said. David appeared and looked at the two Ellies. Hi, David. My name is Ellie. This is your wife, Ellie. Ellie said. David knew how Ellie was dressed when she died, so he knows which of the two is his wife.
David unsura, ayuia, y Hungría.
Ghost Ellie approached him, and when she felt his wet shirt, she embraced him tight. I am sorry, David. I died saving my students. Ghost Ellie said, crying. Okay, I would like to leave the two of you. Tom, take care of them. Hilm, let's go back to my dad. Ellie left them embracing. Hi, Dad. Sorry about that. I had to get David. Anyway, this is Hilm, and this is Julian. So David is dead too? No, why would you think that? Anyway, I want you to know that I took care of the 5 ships in space and their main Armada group. Timmy did not understand what she just said. The people in the Oval Office were just looking at them. One person in an Army general uniform passed his hand through Julian, and it went right through. Mr. President, how far are you with the list they gave you? Hilm asked. We have almost half of them. They are at an Air Force base in California. Ellie, what did you mean you took care of the ships? I transported the Maccabees out of the 100 ships that were on their way here and sent them to a holding planet 80 MLY away. The ships are now empty, and our people are working in them now. So now they would not bother you again. I also did the same to the 5 ships in orbit and sent them to a holding planet. My people said the 5 ships suddenly disappeared. Yes, it would appear like that to you. Wait, you're Albert. Why are you here? Hilm asked. Albert looked at Hilm. I'm the Secretary of State. Do I know you? Where's Julia and Harold? Julian asked. They are busy looking for the people on the list. Peach, why are you here? Daddy, we came here to form the Armada. Ellie is always very direct. Why don't we invite you over to our ship? Olive, get Harold, Julia, Andrew and Vicky, Billy, Rabina, Rebecca, Linda, Jenny, Roger, and Eric. At the reception hall, please. Hilm said. Hilm and Ellie were facing the group who were beamed facing the floor-to-ceiling window of the reception hall. They were all looking at space. Olive stood beside Hilm while Tom got a body and stood beside Ellie. Julian and Desta stood behind Ellie. They waited until the group turned around. Vicky shouted, Andrew, is this one of your pranks again? Yes, honey, and I surprised myself too. Greetings. Welcome to our ship. Hilm greeted the group. They all turned around. Hi guys, this is Hilm and this is Tom, Olive, Desta, and Julian. Tom, get my mom over here. Elaine appeared beside Timmy. Why don't we all sit down around that long table over there? Hilm suggested. The people were quiet but followed Tom as he moved to a long table. Ellie started, okay, let me start by telling you that we, Hilm and I, and all the people in this ship and on my ship are from another dimension. Pause and think. We are not from this universe. We came from another universe. Hilm here is a Maccabee, and he is the same species as the 5 ships that attacked Earth, but he is from another Maccabee universe. Hilm explained, a few days ago, we ambushed 100 Maccabee ships headed here, and when we arrived near Earth, we saw 5 ships sending volleys towards Earth. We took care of these 5 ships and sent the enemy in a holding planet 80 MLY away. So, Ellie, you're not the Ellie that died in the cave? Andrew asked. No, sir. I got the dead Ellie and reunited her with her husband David. Tom, where are they now? They're eating at the mess hall. Tom said. Honey, so David is dead too? Elaine asked. No, Mom. Ellie is dead, but David is not dead. Peach, I'm getting confused here. You are not my daughter Ellie who died. And you say you came from another dimension. Why are you calling me Dad and your mother Mom? That did not sound right, Timmy thought. Dad? I can't call you Timmy and I can't call Mom Elaine. How else can I call you? She's your daughter, Tim, and you're her father. It's just that you are from two different dimensions. Let her call you Dad. Andrew said. Timmy, I feel she is our daughter. Don't you have that feeling? Timmy nodded. You guys want something to drink? Wine or brandy or ice cream? Coffee or some fruit juices? Hilm offered. Andrew was quick. Brandy would be good. The women wanted wine, but Linda wanted ice cream. Tom beamed bottles of brandy and wine and several glasses. He beamed a cup of ice cream for Linda, chocolate, her favorite flavor. Tom poured brandy on a glass and gave it to Timmy, then to Eric and Roger. Timmy looked surprised. Hey, this brandy is really good. Yes, Dad, they're really good stuff, and the wine is also very good. So, Ellie, your friend is an alien? Vicky asked. Yes, but he is also my brother in arms. We fight bad guys together. Going back to what you were supposed to be here for? Albert steered the conversation. Yes, as we said earlier, the Maccabees sent 100 ships to Earth and the 5 in orbit are scout ships. Their main purpose was to assassinate the Armada leaders. But the list of Armada leaders they have came from a different dimension. We have a list of Armada personalities, and these are different from the list they have. They have 3,500, and we have more than 63,000. Olive has located all of these people already. Where did these aliens come from, and why would they want to assassinate the people? Timmy asked. Hilm answered, the Maccabee galaxies are 18 BLY away, and they traveled for months to come over here and kill the Armada people on the list. These people must be very important. And how in the world did you know what they are doing and what's on the list? Andrew asked. So why are we here? Julia asked. Ellie looked at her. You all are in our list of VIPs. Some of you will lead the Armada. Some will lead Earth human colonization, and Vicky here will be in charge of all Earth human technology. I guess Rabina now would be in charge of all Armada science and technology because Ellie is dead. She looked at Hilm and told him telepathically to start talking. Hilm started. The Armada will be headed by Andrew. Andrew suddenly vomited his brandy. Andrew shouted, What? The group laughed. Ellie followed. The second Armada fleet will be headed by Billy, the third by Eric, the fourth by Roger, and the fifth by Linda. Albert and Harold would be in charge of moving humans to colonies and serve as leaders of the Human Federation. Julia will be the first human diplomat while Danny would head off World Planet Property Development. Tom, where are Maria, Edna, and Liz? It's Edna's anniversary today. They are having a party at her house in San Diego. She sent us an invitation as usual. Elaine answered. Tom asked, Do you want me to get them, Ellie?
No.
I don't want to disrupt Edna's party. Maybe later. Hilm continued. Okay. This ship is Andrew's ship. See, it has Andrew's name on it. A hologram of the ship appears. Andrew stood and looked at the ship from several angles. 2 of the 3 Armada ships we were supposed to give you went to settle an immediate problem at the Norset galaxies. One is for Billy and the other was supposed to be for Ellie, but since she died, we'll just give it to Rabina. They will be here in 2 months or so. He then went on to talk about the Norsets. Ellie, this is all very fascinating. How would we have the technical knowledge and expertise to do our work? Andrew asked. Sir, we can give you that, and we can make you all telepathic. It is normal for all our people to have a communications tissue implant. For our ground and shock troops, they have more implants. You don't have to sir me, Ellie. I do that because you saved my dad's life. Well, he did save my life a few times. You can opt out on the telepathic thing if you like, sir. Why would we not want to be telepathic? Vicky asked, surprised. Hilm answered, Andrew, Roger, and Eric would not want to be telepathic. They would agree to the implant and knowledge transfer, though. Vicky looked at Andrew. You don't want me to talk to you telepathically? Andrew shrugged. I want to always hear your voice, Vic. He said. How on earth do you know? Roger asked. Ellie looked at him. We just know. Where will we get the Armada ships? Timmy asked. The Macs are building 3 ships every 2 months. The next delivery would be for Eric, Roger, and Linda. Once we get the second batch, the other 2 that left earlier shall have arrived. We have 2 large Maccabee ships and the 5 scout ships we captured near Earth. But these ships are old and slow. I would probably just give one of the bigger ships to Edna, Maria, and Liz. The 5 scout ships would be for Vicky, Albert, Harold, Julia, and you, Dad. You left out 1 ship, Harold said. That's for a couple from San Francisco who would deal with the old-timers. Ellie said. We understand that the arrival of the Maccabees has opened the galaxies to you. Now you realize that there are other species out there, and some with the intention to kill some of your people. In a way, you have what we can call a baptism of fire. And we have to move fast, otherwise there could be an upheaval on Earth. Hilm said. Ellie added, we have to take charge of the situation. First, we have to form the Armada within a month, or until the other ships arrive. Then send them out on a mission. Then we have to settle some things on Earth. Like? Timmy asked. Well, Daddy, we have to control the transfer of alien technology. Vicky will be in charge of this task. The first technology to transfer would be the fusion technology. Then we have to generate money quickly for the fusion economy. Harold would have to get all the money from all the criminal organizations on Earth. Then we have to cure all the old people and make them live longer. Then Albert and Julia must go around to increase the U.S. territories on Earth and off-world, and to look at the planets to colonize. This is an endless task. I will open a dimension gateway so our people from the other dimension can come over and outfit your ships with the latest data systems so you can do your job. How about the other countries? Timmy asked. Ellie sat at the head of the table. Desta answered, with the fusion technology, the U.S. will grow very rapidly. Albert and Julia would have to go around and invite countries into the U.S. Commonwealth. But there are countries that we will give access to their own planets also, and these countries will compete with the U.S. in getting the other countries to join them as one country. Why would we have to do this? Albert said, to integrate the humans on Earth. Desta's virid. I don't think any of them want to integrate with the U.S. Well, maybe one or two. Julia said. Desta looked at Julia. We can be very persuasive. What we bring to the table is the preservation of the human race. In about 1,400 years from now, a very large asteroid will hit the Earth and render human life extremely difficult. There are 2 ships buried in 2 locations, and these 2 are a prelude to an alien invasion within 200 years. There could be more Maccabees coming over to kill the Armada people, and even more humans. You need the Armada to protect your planet. We can provide a lot of useful technologies through Vicky. The U.S. and its allies will experience an unprecedented rate of growth, maybe 10% per year. Most importantly, we can make you all live longer, say 800 years. I guess if you put it that way, maybe a lot more countries would join the U.S. But there is a process that must be followed. Okay, Ellie, what's in this for all of you? What do you require from us? Andrew asked. Sir, the only thing, and I mean the only one thing, that we require is that you treat all humans and my alien brethren equally. That you learn this concept well. Sir, you are probably the most egalitarian person in the Armada, and the people on the list also understand this equality thing. But the human race is not there yet, and all the people in the list would have to show them and lead them. Desta added, so for anybody to go off-world except for those people on the list, we require them to sign a promise or undertaking that they will abide by this equality principle. What if they don't agree? Timmy asked. Normally, if they are not civilian in nature, and obviously military, we let them go around their solar system, but not beyond that. If a civilian ship goes out with a military escort, we separate the military from the civilian. We will never let any military ship go out and travel believing they are above anybody else out there, and would be justified in doing anything they like on other species. Isn't that so mean, dear? Some science ships need military escorts. Mom, if we let military ships go out of their solar system believing they are above other species and should lord it over the others, you will see them enslave the next peaceful species they encounter. Desta's species is a branch of the human race, and their species are so peaceful and they would never hurt or kill another being on purpose. They ended up being enslaved, eaten, tortured, treated as pets, used and abused by a lot of other species. We have seen and felt the pain, the hurt, and the sadness of other species being enslaved, killed, eaten, and abused. We have felt 2 billion lives lost in one exploding planet because the enemy wanted to show they can blow up a planet. Believe me, the Armada is a kind Armada, and you would be lucky if we allow you to travel in a solar system at all. Besides, outside the solar system, the Armada keeps the peace. A military Armada is a risk to others, especially if they have no respect for other species and their right to coexist. Hilm added, another requirement for any human from this planet to travel the stars is that they should go through the Crimson for a few minutes, like an interview, but you just sit there. The Crimson will verify your agreement to our one request. Then you would be tagged, and this tag allows our transporters to know you. Timmy looked at Hilm. I think, Hilm, you should conduct several press interviews to explain the situation. I think if we appear more alien like a Talonot or a Norset, the humans would react better. But I would rather not talk to them until we have all talked to the Armada people. You can just say that we are busy doing something first before we talk to them. Besides, the Armada people need time to react and organize. Vicky needs time to learn things, and Albert, Julia, and the rest need time to prepare their work. Ellie said. So all of these people must resign from their present work? Timmy asked. I don't mind. I'm unemployed. Andrew quipped. Vicky smiled and held his hand. Ellie then directed the party to the Crimson, where they stayed for 30 minutes. While in the Crimson, Olive beamed the implant behind their right ear. Then Ellie and her group walked over to the bridge. Helm started, Ellie, I think we should start processing the Armada people. It's going to take a while to let them all go through the 10 Crimsons. Then we have to talk to them, to each of them. Also, I think you should look at these events carefully so you can assimilate your planet to the realities when we go back to our dimension. Good thinking, Helm. I think Desta should appear as a Talonot and conduct the press interviews. I don't mind, but not now, maybe in a few days. I have to help with the Armada people coming on board. Desta said, I guess we should start with the GX teams. Olive, start beaming them in batches that will fit our mission room. Ellie said, Very good, Ellie. I have a short list of things to talk about. Here, look at this. Desta said, Helm got it first. Very good, Desta. Carry on. I will follow this talking points when I deal with my group when it's my turn. Ellie looked at the short list and gave the thumbs up. Olive, I expect the people in the Crimson to be hungry when they get out, so beam them to the mess hall as soon as they are done. Can you beam the 2 kids from San Francisco to the back of the bridge? Ellie said. Ricky and Christy were walking, then they stopped.
Y Ricky, Christy.
This is Ellie, Helm, Desta, and Tom.
I'm Olive.
Ellie greeted them and, Please sit. How are you two doing? Are you married already? We just got married 2 months ago. Where are we? Ricky answered, unsure. You are in Andrew's ship? Olive answered. Ricky, Christy, we are going to give you a ship so you can do your work. Ellie said. And what work would this be? Christy asked, bewildered. To help old people, make them well, and give them longer lives. Ellie said. Desta felt Ellie is moving too aggressively on various tasks. Desta offered, Why don't I take you over to your ship and show you around? I will answer all your questions there. The couple nodded, and they were beamed into the Maccabee command ship. Helm got it too, and, Ellie, why don't you go to your friend's party? It might be fun. Ellie thought for a second and nodded agreement. Olive, I want to go to Edna's party. Tom, get a body and accompany me. Show me the party. Olive produced a hologram of the party at Edna's house. She saw Edna and Maria laughing in a large kitchen. There beam us in front of the two. Hi, Ed, Maria. How are you guys? Ellie greeted them. Ellie, you're a ghost? Edna asked, surprised. No, I'm not. This is Tom. What? You have a new boyfriend? But you're already married to David, Maria said. Ellie moved to embrace Edna and then Maria. You don't feel dead, Maria said. I'm not. Then Edna embraced her from the back, and seeing this, Maria embraced her from the front. Thanks, guys, Ellie said. So this is your anniversary, Edna? Second, and my husband just returned from deployment, so it's really something special. How about you, Maria? Are you still married? You know I'm already divorced from the nutcase. You were in it every step of the way. Ellie laughed, and there is something I need to tell you too. Wait, where's Liz? She went home already, Edna answered. Ellie started. You know about this alien invasion, right? The two nodded. Well, I settled it. Now I would like to give one of the bigger ships I got from the invaders to you. What are you talking about? Maria asked. Can you spare me, say, an hour so I can explain? For you, Ellie, anything? Edna said. Ellie told Tom telepathically to beam them to Olive's reception hall. Ellie found David and his wife Ghost Ellie looking out into space. Then Edna and Maria appeared.
Y David, ella.
Maria said. David and Ghost Ellie turned around and went over to embrace Maria and Edna. They then noticed another Ellie, the one they were just talking to in the kitchen with Tom. Wait, there's two of you, Maria said. Sit down, guys. I want to explain things to you. Ellie gestured for the group to sit. I am from another dimension. I came over here to help the people on Earth form the Armada and settle things on Earth. Now the alien invasion messed things up a bit, so I had to take care of them first. Ellie said. You're kidding, right? No, Ed. Look, Ellie here was supposed to lead the science and technology group of the Armada, but she died. But Ellie here looks so alive and not dead. Edna said. Yes, because we are all Crimson invisible, and in this dimension, we are actually existing in the ghost realm. Don't mind these things, Ed. Just believe in whatever I say. So we are in your ship. Why did you bring us here? Maria asked. No, this is Andrew's ship. I brought you here because this alien invasion opened up Earth to the galaxies. There would be some problems along the way, and I need you guys to help out. How? Edna asked. You two will start the commerce between several alien species and humans. I will tell Harold to give you a third of the money from the fusion economy and a third of the money from the criminal organizations to start you off. Maria, you will start several banking cooperatives and designate all the off-world people as stockholders with their own shares. Edna, you will create an intergalactic currency exchange market. You two and Liz will travel a lot and will create so many large companies in several galaxies to benefit the off-world people. The list goes on. Now I will let you go in through the Crimson so you can have the necessary information you need to accomplish your tasks. Then you will become telepathic and will have an implant so you can communicate with your ship and a lot of people. I will give you your own ship from where you can conduct your activities. Maria looked at Ellie. You're kidding, right? Ellie shook her head slowly. Okay, Ellie, I did not really understand what you said, but whatever it is, I'm in. Edna said. I thought you're smart, Ed. Maria said. Ghost Ellie asked. What about me and David, Ellie? What would we do? Ellie, you do feel me, right? Ghost Ellie nodded. So I feel you and you feel me. Like what I feel you feel. Yes, like we are linked somehow. Let me explain something. As Ghost, you remain here in this world because you have not moved on. And the reason you have not moved on is because somebody or something is holding you back. I think that your love for David is what is holding you back, that you cannot bear to see him sad. But you have to move on and meet our maker. That is what you should do. I think you may be right, Ellie. I want him to be happy, and if I go, he would be sad. So the solution is to get a woman for David, so you can leave in peace, Ellie. Edna said. I agree. Now who could be that woman? Maria asked. All was quiet, and after a minute, the three women looked at Ellie. Are you kidding me? Ellie shouted at them. Look, Ellie, you and David are like him and me. He would be perfect for you. I am sorry, honey. It's not like I am throwing you out of my life to another woman. But I agree with Ellie. You have to find somebody so I can leave you and move on. What if you just stay with me forever? She can't because she has to move on. That would not be fair to her. Ellie said. Ghost Ellie held David's arm. I can stay, but I want you to live properly and not have a ghost as your wife. I want you to have kids and lead a normal, happy life. Ellie, it is very hard to look for a guy for you. Ellie here got lucky with David. Why don't you let David hang around with you so you can get to know him and he could get to know you? Maria said. I can help out to make sure you get to know each other. I love you very much, David. That is why I am doing this. Ellie, it's a perfect match. The dead ex-wife will help you with her husband, and she will help her husband with you. Edna said. You assumed I have no boyfriend or a husband. Ellie, it's you. It would be next to impossible for you to get married or even have a boyfriend. Maria said. Please, Ellie, do this for me. I assure you that David will be the right guy for you. I know. He's perfect for me. Can I say something? I think nobody should be forced to love somebody. David commented. Edna looked at David. I agree, under normal circumstances. But you have a dead wife and her other self is alive. It's a win-win for the three of you. Just give it a try. Do this for Ellie, I mean for yourself. And David, isn't this live one as pretty as your dead wife? Maria insisted. Well, they look the same. Dave, honey, you have to do this for me so I can rest in peace. I want you to rest in peace, and I don't mind feeling bad as long as you move on. I can live with that. I just feel that it would be very hard for me to feel the same for another woman. She is not another woman. She is me. Even our DNA is the same. The kids we will have will be the same as the kids you and Ellie here will have. Do this for me, Dave. I really don't think it's a good idea. I have a lot of work to do. I have to take charge of the Earth problem, the ARMADA problem, and so many other issues in several galaxies. I have no time for David here. Ellie said. Just let him hang around you. I will hang around you. I have all the time in the world. Look, Ellie, I know you will agree, and I know you would not be able to stand yourself pestering yourself. So give it a try, please. I can just leave this dimension and go home. Maybe I can find a husband in another dimension. You can leave, but I will always be with you. No, you can't. I can have Tom beam you out and hold you in a time box. You cannot possibly be mean to yourself. You will feel bad, and in the end you will let me go. This is yourself we are talking about. Okay, let it go, guys. If Ellie here doesn't want to do it, fine. Ellie, can you just continue with what you were talking about our roles? Edna said. Earlier she did not feel the situation is strange, but now she feels a little more strange, and want to end the strange situation where a dead wife is arguing against herself from another dimension, and two of her friends act as if the argument is normal. Maria was clearer. Let's just end this argument between the living and the dead to rest for a while. She looked at Ellie. Ellie grabbed the chance of getting out of the argument and quickly told them the things they would be doing in the next few days, and then after they settled in their ship. After a few minutes, she accompanied Maria and Edna with Ghost Ellie and David to the Crimson. And when they were unmoving, she made her escape and went to the mess hall. Tom appeared. Ellie, the probability of you marrying David is very, very high. Shut up, Tom. She found Desta there waiting also. I just left the San Francisco couple in the Crimson. Desta said. Hilm is talking to the next batch on the list at the reception hall. Tom said, and Ellie nodded. In a few minutes, Timmy's group appeared. Ellie guided them to the food line, and they fell in line rather noisily. Don't hesitate to get 2 or 3 plates of food. The steaks are all good, and the sushi is fresh. Ellie told the group. Andrew found himself following a Talonot at the line. He noticed the Talonot getting 3 very large pieces of steaks. Those are large chunks of meat, he told the Talonot. Yes, I got a lot of T-bones yesterday, now it's New York Steak Day. Get the prime ribs, they're to die for, and ask for the thicker ones. He answered back in English. Andrew nodded but was amazed the alien could talk in English, and with a British accent at that. But then something in his mind said, this is normal. Ellie noticed the group do not seem to mind the bluffing at the back of the counter giving them their food, or the Talonots in the line. They seemed to take to shouting their order as normal. She saw her dad was even arguing with a bluffing in English. She sat down at the long table and asked Tom to beam her food. Tom beamed several bottles of wine and brandy on the table. Timmy sat beside her on her right, and Elaine sat on her left. Andrew and Vicky sat across Timmy. This steak is really to die for, as the Talonot said. Andrew said, wait, did I just say Talonot? It's like I just knew the kind of species the guy ahead of me was. Ellie explained, that's the effect of the Crimson giving you the intel you need to function and do your job well. And Vicky, he cannot hear you. You are telepathically telling him and not talking. I understand, Ellie. Andrew, I think you should be telepathic. I have a very valid reason. Look at these people, they are all talking telepathically, and there is no action. No sound.
No interaction.
I love to interact with you, honey. Sir, you actually ordered the Armada, who are all telepathic, to talk rather than telepathically communicate. See, honey, a very valid reason. Timmy, I think the White House is already on red alert with us missing. Albert said, I don't mind. Tom, tell them where I am and not to worry. Yes, sir. I am appearing now to several of your people. The group all got 3 plates each, and after half an hour they were almost done. I cannot believe I finished 3 steaks, Linda said. Now for the ice cream. She stood up and walked over to the ice cream counter. Just then Maria, Edna, David, and Ghost Ellie appeared. Ghost Ellie ran to hug her dad and mother. Timmy was surprised, and he stood and embraced her again. Maria and Edna embraced Elaine and Timmy as well. They were all smiles. David shook Timmy's hand but embraced Elaine. See, no sound. They are all shouting in their heads and their faces are all excited but no sound. How abnormal is that, Vic? Okay, you made your point. Talking would be nice, girls, Andrew announced. Ellie suddenly stood and dropped her steak knife and fork, shouting, No, I cannot believe you're telling Dad about me, Ellie. I was just telling Dad how David and you could be good friends. I did not hear the word friends. Okay, girls, let's not get excited here. It's like suddenly I have 2 daughters and they are arguing between themselves about a guy. Except that they look alike and are really the same person. He felt happy but different and weird. David, I know you're hungry. We were eating almost since Ellie and I got here, Mom. And we just came out of my party, Tita. Wait, they may be looking for us already. Tom, tell my husband not to worry and we will return in a few. Yes, Edna. After 2 hours, Hilm and the batch of Armada people he was handling appeared and filed into the food line. Ricky and Christy appeared, and they fell in line also. Then after 2 hours, Desta appeared with another batch. It was a long dinner for Timmy and his group. It extended into 5 hours, and at the end of which they had to eat again. Ellie was moving from one person to the next, answering questions and giving solutions. David was watching her half of the time. He was watching Ghost Ellie the rest of the time. He noticed they are really the same person, more so now that the Crimson gave Ghost Ellie the experiences and intel Ellie has. The next day, Desta started to conduct press interviews at the White House. She appeared as a Talonot on the first day. Then she appeared as a Norset the next day. Then she appeared as a Romid on the third. After the press interviews, she went on to handle her batch of Armada people. Hilm had his share of press interviews in other countries. He also appeared in different alien life forms like Desta. And like Desta, he got busy with the Armada batches. Ellie focused her time with Andrew. She briefed him on Rodin and the Inky problem. Then she told Andrew that in her world, the teams were deployed as GX teams, but in this dimension she decided to split the Armada so they can work on different tasks at once. Through all of these, Ghost Ellie was at her side all the time. Ellie assigned David, who was a medical doctor by profession, to work with Ricky and Christy in the Old People Project. Ellie, now I understand your work, and I think I will not move on because this time I want to help. Ghost Ellie said, good for you. So I decided to do my part and accompany you and help you in all your work. Bad for me. Look, you can be anything you like. You're me. Go around and be me. Just don't be beside me. Andrew laughed. Andrew decided to help Ellie go around talking to the ARMADA people. He realized these are his people, and Ellie is telling them what they would be doing. And these people he must definitely know, and their work is something he definitely must understand. Ghost Ellie was there all the time. As they moved around, he realized that Ellie and Ghost Ellie liked each other a lot, and that they feel each other more than twin sisters. He sees Ellie make Ghost Ellie laugh, and Ghost Ellie would return the favor and make Ellie laugh. He tried to listen on their jokes, but could only make out words. Maybe they're joking half telepathically and half talking with some feeling each other mixed in, he thought. It was lunch, and the three found themselves in the mess hall. Tom, what is Ellie's Andrew doing right now? Andrew asked. Tom appeared. Let me open some DG windows and update my data systems. It will take a few minutes. David appeared and kissed Ghost Ellie and hugged Ellie. They went to the food line and got their usual. Andrew is at the local Andrew's house with local Timmy, local Julia, and local Albert. Tom explained. Ghost Ellie looked at Ellie. Are you thinking what I am thinking? I am feeling what you are thinking. Tom, can you ask my parents, Julia and Danny and Albert, to come over here, please? Andrew added, don't forget my wife. After a few minutes, Timmy, Elaine, Vicky, Julia, Danny, and Albert beamed in. Are we ready, sir? Ellie asked as she looked at Andrew, who was now holding Vicky's hand. Andrew nodded. Tom beamed them through the DG to one of Ellie's DG ships, and from there he beamed them to Olive's bridge through a DG he opened earlier. Olive beamed them to Andrew's house except Ghost Ellie, who was beamed in as a hologram. The group stayed there for more than 8 hours. When they got back, David was already engaged to the Ellie of that dimension. David and Ghost Ellie retired to their officers' quarters tired, happy, and unsure. The next day, David and Ghost Ellie were at the mess hall having breakfast. The couple appeared like newlyweds, happy and smiling all the time. Ellie beamed beside them. You two seem to have had a good one last night. I can't lie to you. She stood, embraced Ellie and kissed her on the cheeks. Ellie kissed her back and held David's hand. Then Andrew, Julia, and Elaine beamed in. Are you going back to the other dimension, David? Elaine asked. Yes, Mom. I would try to establish myself there. We did decide to have the wedding in that dimension. We would be going with you and see how things are going to be. Julia added. Mom, you really are taking the wedding planning job seriously? Ghost Ellie asked. Of course, honey. I think it would be so much fun. I think you can also bond with your other selves there. Andrew said. David stood and said, So are we going now, Mom, Julie? Both women nodded. David embraced, then kissed Ghost Ellie, who stood close to him. Ellie then embraced and kissed David on the cheeks. Good luck, David. The three beamed out. As soon as David beamed out, Andrew saw Ellie embrace Ghost Ellie, and almost instantaneously both of them started to cry, quietly. Andrew could see tears flow, propelled by a feeling magnified by 2. Ellie seemed to feel Ghost Ellie's sadness, and the feeling became her own. Ellie kissed Ghost Ellie's tear-drenched cheeks. They embraced quietly for a while, and Andrew just stood there and waited. I felt your love for David, a feeling I never could imagine having until now. I felt your sadness, a silent sadness. I felt you tried to feel happy, but you're not. Both sat on the nearest chairs and remained quiet while holding each other's hands. Andrew remained standing. I love him very much, with all my heart and soul. She looked at Ellie. I love you too, Ellie. Ghost Ellie said to Ellie, whose eyes are still tear-filled. Ellie wiped her tears with her hand. Ghost Ellie did the same in the same way. I will get some food. Andrew said. Sure, let me get some food also. Ellie stood and kissed Ghost Ellie's head. Andrew and Ellie spent the whole day again talking to the ARMADA leaders and some civilian groups. Ghost Ellie was there all the time, quiet and unsmiling. Ellie could feel Ghost Ellie all along, but tried to be cheerful so Ghost Ellie could feel the cheerfulness. But Ghost Ellie knows if she is trying her very best to be cheerful for her benefit. In the evening, Ellie and Ghost Ellie went back to Ellie's dimension to look at the party place. She was hoping this would cheer her. Andrew volunteered the place because they expected several thousands as guests. This place is huge. It's like a floating park in space. 10,000 guests can fit here. Tom, did you reserve this place with Vicky for the date set by my mom, which is 3 months from now? Tom appeared and yes, Ellie. I have notified Vicky and Brad. How many of us would be attending? Easily 6. I would suggest we put numbers on those guests who have several selves. The local ones would not have numbers, while your dimension's people would have number 1 pinned to their clothes, while Ellie's dimension would have number 2 pinned, and so on. But then, knowing Andrew and the guys, they will switch numbers. But then the women would switch also, so the joke would be on them. Ghost Ellie smiled. I think the place would fill up easily with so many copies of the same people. We'll limit the major guests from 3 dimensions, but would only invite the key personalities of the other dimensions. Ghost Ellie nodded. Ghost Ellie thought she heard a faint whine of the atmosphere generator. She tried to listen, and she could not hear it again. She looked around trying to pin the sound and realized they were alone in the party place, and all around she could see the beautiful darkness of space. The only light is coming from an unshaded portion where the sunlight was deflected into the party place. She felt Ellie hold her hand, and they sat on a large leather sofa. Ellie snuggled into her. When I felt your love for David, it was really amazing. And I could not feel that from you again. I did, but not in the same intensity. And I tried to remember the feeling, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. There was a sense of happiness and contentment. But there was a sense of giving and longing. The feeling is hard to describe, but I liked it a lot. Ellie said, almost whispering. Maybe it is in times of great stress that the feeling becomes intense enough for you to feel it totally. I just hope I can find a guy and have the same feeling. Ghost Ellie held her closer. Just don't die. How'd you meet David? In a supermarket. I know, very unromantic. She then related their times together in various stages of the relationship. Ellie could feel the happiness and excitement of Ghost Ellie reminiscing her times with David. Ghost Ellie's feelings became her feelings, and she was happy. Ellie was intently listening, laughing, holding Ghost Ellie's hand. I felt it again. Almost. I guess love could be addictive. It is. The mechanism for opiates would be similar. But I feel it is more total, like every cell in your body is happy and in love. I would like to fall in love someday, but not now. When was the last time you went to a supermarket? 10 or so years ago. Maybe I can meet him in another world or planet. Or supermarket. Stop being romantic. You will meet him when you least expect it, like in a supermarket. They both laugh. Why don't I treat you to a shopping binge trip on our Earth? You can walk beside me and tell me whether you like the item or not. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's go. But no supermarket.